Hi, this is Zach Anderson, and in this video, I will be going over the final step for coding problem set 4, the word game. So this is going to be a computer choosing a word and playing a hand. So we need to make sure that our functions from PS4a are complete and they work, and at the end of the last video, we saw that they do in fact work, so we are then good to move on and begin working on PS4b. So this is going to give the option for the computer to play a hand. All of that code is already given to us. So now that your computer can choose a word, you need to give the computer the option to play. So we need to write code that re-implements the play game function, but we need to modify it so that it can behave as described below in the function's comments. And then we should also use the hand size constant to determine the number of cards in a hand. So if we move over to the code here, we see that we have some predefined functions which will allow the computer to play instead of a user. So we have to comp play hand and comp choose word. So if we head down here, we're going to see that this is where we're going to begin. So the same thing as last time, we need to ask the user to input N, R, or E, which will have the exact same commands that they did last time. And then if the user enters anything else, we need to ask them again and display that invalid message. However, this time we need to ask the user to input a U or a C, and this is going to correspond to a user for U and a C for the computer. So as it says, if the user inputted U, then they get to play the game, but if they inputted C, then the computer is going to play the game. And then just same thing, after the computer, a user has played the hand, repeat from step 1. I copied my code from the previous problem, and then we just modified it a little bit. So we use the same statements asking for N, R, or E. We still check if the user input is not any of these and display this message, and the if and else if are the exact same. However, we did have to add some more code down here because now we need to modify it for the computer. So while this is going to be true, we are asking the player for an input. This is going to be to enter a U for the user to play or a C for the computer to play. So very similar if statement here. If the input from player is U or C and it is equal to 1, this is going to break the code. So otherwise, we're going to give, if it's not a U or a C, it's going to be an invalid input, and it's going to continuously try again until the program is quit out of or until a U or a C is entered. Upon a U or C being entered, we come down here to then see what those do. So if a player enters U, then it's going to call the play hand function, which is going to allow the user to play. But else, since there's only one other option, so this is just C, else if C is entered, then it's going to call the comp play hand function, which will then allow the computer to play the hand through rather than the user. So if we come down here, we can run this, we get the same message as before. So if we want to give ourselves a new hand, we see that we are immediately met with this U or a C, but we can, if Z, it's going to say invalid input, please try again. Perfect. So let's do a user. We see that we have some letters here, so we can do gone. Get a few points there. Boom. So if we want a new hand, it's going to then bring us back to a U and a C. And if we want the computer to play, we're going to see it's going to run through its simulation here, and the computer is given this hand, and these are the points that it ended up getting with it. So then we can reuse that same hand, but then if you want to compete with the computer, you get that same hand, but now you get to play with it. Other than that, we hit E to exit. The program should stop running. Everything looks good.